Hi, I am Tamara Pearl, therapist, and welcome to my series on how to use art exploration for psychedelic preparation and integration. So this is the first video. It's an introduction on how and why to use art exploration in general. And it would be important for you to watch this before you watch any of the other videos which contain exercises, specific exercises that you can do. So why would we use art to explore our psychedelic experiences or any other issues that we're concerned about in our lives? Here's a quote by Georgia O'Keeffe. I found that I could say things with color and shapes that I couldn't say any other way, things I had no words for. So that's basically in a nutshell why we would do that. There's many benefits and many other reasons. So art gives us new ways to express what's inside of us. Words sometimes just aren't available to express, especially with a psychedelic experience. There's often no words to express these new experiences that we have there. Art gives us perspective and embodied insight. So what do I mean by that? So if you're going to make a piece of art that represents how you felt or a different part of your journey, you're going to be able to look at it from a bit of a distance, and you're going to be able to then see it and see things that you hadn't noticed before when it was just inside you. Sometimes it's easier, it's a bit like mindfulness. So sometimes it's easier to have a bit of separation so that you can see it in a different way. Another reason is that art gives us access to our body's wisdom. And I'm going to talk later on in this video on how to use the body's felt sense to draw and give you direct access to what the body knows that your mind hasn't quite put words to yet. Another reason that art exploration is so powerful is that it helps us to relate to our emotions and situations in our lives in a different way. So we have the opportunity to kind of experiment and play, because we're just playing with color and shape, and we can even rearrange things and see how that is. And we can have a different perspective. Sometimes you can look at things, even turn around and look at the picture upside down, and you'll notice something new about it. Art is fun, and creating brings us into the present, and that's always healing. And creativity helps us experiment with doing things and living life in a different way. So how do we do this? How do we use art to explore our psychedelic journeys? So first I want to just make sure that everybody understands that this is not about producing beautiful works of art. This is about expressing your feelings and using art materials in a personal way. It's about kind of painting or drawing the way we did when we were kids, spontaneously. That way you really get in touch with your body and you allow it to just express whatever's there. There's no right way of doing it. If you find some judgments coming in, then you can just let those go and know that there isn't a right way. If someone tries to interpret your drawing, that's really more about them. This is not about interpretation. It's about really being with these explorations and these parts of yourself in a different way. So using the felt sense is my favorite way of drawing. And so I'll just tell you a bit about the felt sense. It was a phrase coined by Eugene Gendlin, and he developed focusing-oriented therapy. So he used the word felt sense, which has now been picked up by quite a lot of other kinds of therapies, somatic therapies. He originally thought he would use the word felt experience, so that also describes it. And he wanted to capture the sensations that we have in our body. We're on the edge of understanding something. So here's an example. You wake up from a dream and it has a certain flavor, and it has a different flavor than your dream from the night before. And that felt sense, that's the felt sense. Your mind might not have words yet to describe that feeling that you have from the dream, but your body knows what it is. Same thing if you think about a food you really like and you just notice in your body what that feels like. It's going to be different to a food that you don't like. And so we can use the felt sense to understand what it is about those foods or why we are drawn to things, some things, and not other things. We can learn so much from our bodies. Our bodies have so much wisdom inside them. So, in another video, I'm going to suggest some questions that you can ask yourself, or you can even ask the drawing, or you can ask your felt sense, your body's felt sense. And it's important that you just trust your intuition. You just trust the answer that comes when you ask it. You try to stay out of your mind and just go with the first thought that comes to you. Remember, you're the only one that knows what your drawing means to you. So I'm gonna go back for a second for how we do it. So what I like to suggest is that you pick whatever you're going to focus on. So maybe it's part of your psychedelic journey. Maybe it's just an issue in your life. Maybe it's an emotion. And you focus on that, and then you just notice how your body feels when you focus on that. Really go inside, particularly in your torso, in your heart, in your stomach. Just notice what happens there. Is there tightness, warmth? Is there any kind of texture? And then you just let yourself choose the colors that you're attracted to when you're immersed in that felt sense. And you let your body move the way it wants to when you're immersed in that felt sense. And you may see an image in your mind that you want to draw, but it's it's more just an abstract, or it's almost like a scribble. You can think of it, and just let whatever wants to come out onto the paper. So you're kind of transferring in a way that felt sense onto the paper. So that's basically the introduction for how to use art, and then there are specific exercises that you can use, and I hope you enjoy them.